Okay, so today we're going to talk about running a multi and all of the ins and outs and options you have for running a multi. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go live as we would normally. So normally it will pop up to this window, but instead we are going to go over to the multi-guest live. I'll swipe over to the swipe right, go over to the multi-guest live. Typically, you want to start it at a 4-seat multi because you can always go larger, but you cannot go smaller. So once you set the multi, if you set it to a 9-seat, you cannot go back to a 4-seat. But if you're at a 4-seat, you can always expand to a 6-seat or 9-seat. So we're going to start at a 4-seat multi. We're just going to go into a private multi for now. The title is up here. You can make it whatever you like. It's just training multi. You can tag it. It allows more viewers to see and possibly come in. So we'll just tag it as make friends. All right, so we're going to go live now on a private, so nobody can see this at this point. Here we go. So here we are live in multi. We're just going to go over a few things before we invite any guests in. So these bottom 3 lines on the bottom left, these 3 lines are going to be very key in controlling your multi. So if you click on those bottom 3 lines, press button. You have a lot of options here. There's a lot of wording. So introduction means you can type in a introduction to your guests. So you can say, hi, Sister Patterson. Oh, not Sister. I'm doing this one hand, I'm so sorry. Hi, Sister Patterson. Okay, so that when new guests come in, they will be greeted with that. That is totally optional. You do not have to do that. We can change the atmosphere. You can put on a background if you'd really like. Most people keep it pretty standard as the regular one, but if you really like, you can change yours. Next is the guests 4 to 6. So like I said, you can always expand, but you cannot make it smaller. So if you click on the 4 to 6 seat, it'll even remind you to switch to a 6 seat. You cannot change back in this mode. So for now, we will switch to a 6 seat. And it always puts the host in the big box to start. So 6 seat is the only one with the feature box, I say. We're going to continue to go back to the 3 lines. So the next ones are key. So speak mode is really important. That is how you mute your entire panel except for yourself. So when I click speak mode, guests cannot speak unless they are permitted to speak by the host. So that means you can select who you pick and choose to speak. All right, I'm going to invite a guest in here just so I can show you some additional things. So that is how you invite a specific guest. I'm going to turn this down all the way. All right, so we have a guest in here now. The guest is going to select in the bottom right corner, that little chair. So they're going to select to join. And then you'll see a little chair icon with the 1 person waiting in the bottom right. So we're going to click on that. We see the person waiting. We are going to hit accept. And at that point, you can place them. So we're going to just put them in box number 1 for now. So I've had it before so that the guests are not allowed to speak at this point unless I choose to allow them to speak. So if you see there's in the top right of this box number 1, there's a little microphone that has an X through it or a slash through it. That means that that person is on mute currently. In order to unmute them, you select their box and you'll see you could either have the option to gift them, but in the upper right of this black box here, there's some options. There's that telephone hang up icon. So that means you can get rid of them if they're being inappropriate. You can select them to disconnect. The one immediately to the left of that with the arrows means that you are going to change them into the big box. So I'm going to select them for the big box for now. So again, we're going to click back on their profile. Say I'd like to have them talk, or they're requesting to speak. So sometimes if somebody is requesting to speak, they will use this icon in the comments and it will pop up in their box. So let's just say this person wants to speak, but I have them on mute because the panel is getting a little rowdy. So they'll raise their hand like this. You'll see that little hand raise and it'll also pop up in the comments. So what you're going to do is you're going to select their picture. And again, in this top right of this black box, The third one to the left is that little microphone, so I'm going to select to unmute them. So now they are
allowed to talk.
And they can say what they'd like. And the rest of the panel is still muted. So that is how you allow one person to speak at a time. So I'm going to go back and mute them again because I'd like somebody else to speak. So that is how you mute a person in the panel. And that allows you to gain some control. So again, we'll review on the bottom 3 lines on the left of the main screen, those 3 lines. Speak mode allows guests can speak freely now. So you are allowing the panel to talk at their own will. Or you can press it again, and now the guest cannot speak unless you're permitted to do so. So you have muted everybody. And then if you want to unmute an individual host, you click on their picture, and then you click on this unmute icon. And you're allowing just them to speak so they can say their piece. All right, I'm going to stop this part of the recording.